got Mark and Amanda, and we're trying to get Woody. You there, Woody? Hello, Pam. How are you? Well, we're trying. Hey, hi, Pam. Phil's on, but he's on his cell phone, so he's got something stuck in his ear. Woody, I see it's trying to connect to you. Pam, you want to do a mic test? There you go. What a time for it to work, huh? Woody, you got your microphone muted and not getting any video on you, which isn't a big deal, but
Who wants to look at him?
I'm trying to turn my video off.
There's
okay.
Pam.
But Pam don't want to be seen. How do I turn it off?
Go
Get a paper sack over the head.
Mark, drive the train on this, will you?
You want to see my feet, I don't guess.
No, we see your face.
Down at the bottom of the screen, you should be able to stop video.
No, it's saying none, virtual backgrounds. I don't even see. For some reason it put me on virtual backgrounds. No. No. I don't know. No, well.
Just point it up at the wall.
There you go, Pam. There you go. You turn yourself off. There you go.
It's been one of those days. I'm here though.
I understand. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Did everybody get their read ahead information? That's mainly what we wanted to talk about. I sent everybody emails and messages with the link. So we're expecting everybody to come on. I did get all the posts. And then John said he wanted to be on. Gary said he wanted to be on. And I see John, but I don't see Gary yet. Woody, we see you out there. We're about 10 minutes early. We're just trying to get commo checks before we go live on it. I'm going to step out for just a minute and get my paperwork. Yeah. There it is. Got it. Didn't have to go far for that. John, give me the history on why the CB&L states that the district commander is a 2-year term and a minimum of 4 meetings with the district is required. How is that not the summer convention and the midwinter convention? That meets the requirements. So where and why are we throwing all this other stuff out? Can you give me some background on that?
I don't know where it originated. I know when they were writing the Constitution and bylaws back in 1516, they wanted 4 meetings with the district commander, one at convention, one at midwinter, and then have one meeting where the district commander had a meeting in the spring and the fall with his post.
So you see how jacked up that is according to the Constitution and bylaws?
No, it is in the Constitution and bylaws.
No, sir. It states there will be a minimum of 4 meetings. Let me see if I can find it in this read ahead. And the term of the district commander is for 2 years. So if you take 2 summers and 2 midwinters, that's a total of 4. And I'm saying, okay, where's this other stuff at? And it may have been the intent, but that is not what's written in the Constitution and bylaws.
It plainly states that I must hold a convention prior or a conference prior to the state convention and elect those officers that are required to be elected for my district. Now, the purpose of that was not only to elect my officers, but to give the opportunity to the department commander to visit with that district. We did one in the spring and one in the fall, because normally the spring meeting was conducted by either the A or the B when there was two halves to a thing.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm trying to read right here in the Constitution and bylaws where it says under Department Convention 7.7, so you can see that it's out of sync with the rest of the Constitution and bylaws, that there will be a 2-year term for the district commander, and there will be a minimum of 4 meetings per the term of the commander. So if you
Does
take
it say
two summers-
term of the commander, or are you reading into it?
No, I'm not reading into it. Let me get my Constitution and bylaws and read it verbatim, give you the page on it. And John, this is the one dated 23 July 2002.
2022?
Yep,
Okay.
23 July 22 at Shawnee. A district conference shall be held by each district not less than 20 days prior to the convening of each annual convention and winter conference on all matters or business except the election of members of the executive committee. Somebody just came
Okay.
on. Mark, you handle that for me, please?
I got it.
Each district conference, not less than 20 days prior to convening of the department, shall elect a district commander for a term of 2 years on even years, and the DEC for 2 years on odd years. The election of the district commander and district vice commander shall be by majority vote of the delegates of said district. The method of voting may be ballot, voice, hand, whatever. Charlie, it shall be the responsibility of the district commander in and for each district select and notify the method of voting for the district, and to see that at least 15 days prior notice of the district conference convened for any purposes shall be given by written communication to the commanders of each post. No such district conference shall be deemed legal, conveyed in the absence of such notice. Let me get the page turned here. Upon 3 hours, this is where I was coming from right here. However, that's under 7.7 Charlie, the last sentence on page 9. However, any district may caucus at the department convention upon 3-hour notice by announcement from the rostrum, and all the purposes of this section may therefore be fulfilled just as though prior written notice had been given. So that tells me in the Constitution and bylaws that I can hold a district caucus at the summer at the summer convention with a 3-hour notice from the rostrum, and all the elections can be done at that time. That's where I'm reading the ambiguity in the CBNL, and I'm saying
No,
it's
because you're
seven.
talking about a conference, which is more than a caucus.
No, sir. It's
Yes,
stating
it
that
is.
okay, let me read it again, John. However, the district may caucus at the department convention upon 3-hour notice from the announcement from the rostrum, and all purposes of this section may thereafter be fulfilled just as through prior written notice had been given. What did I misread?
M-A-Y. It doesn't say you will, it may.
That's my whole point. However, it's telling you that you got it. Okay, Charlie, on
Jack?
7,
Jack, you're interpreting it the way you wish to read it. So
that's
be it.
my point. No, John,
So
that's not,
be it. I'm not going to argue with you.
John, it's not an argument, brother. I'm asking for clarification when and how it got put in here. That's all I'm asking. I'm not here to argue, John. I'm here to try to learn. You're a
The original
PDC.
Constitution and bylaws that we currently have today started in 2016. That was the first one, and it's been amended about 4 times since then. But the meetings of the district, the two, one in the spring, one in the fall, are required. They're not optional. I may meet those requirements by conducting a caucus, not the same animal, at a convention. Now, the only ones that has ever done that is you, Jack, because you choose to interpret it that way.
It shouldn't be open to the interpretation. It should be cut and dry.
As far as I'm concerned, it isn't. You're the one fighting it.
I'm just reading black and white, John.
The meaning of will and the meaning of may are not even remotely close.
I concur with that. And whenever they tell
Then
me
why
all
are
this
you
stuff,
fighting the problem?
because however is put in there. It
Then
must be
Jack,
done 20
make
days
a recommendation that however be taken out.
Well, make
And
the recommendation that however be capitalized in bold.
Jack, write a resolution. Don't fight it. Don't fight it this way. You're not going to win. Just
Well, I beg to
accept
differ
it for
with
what it says and let's move on.
that. Yeah. All right. It's 1800 by my watch. Anybody have any different? Hello, Hayden. Good to see you.
Mm-hmm. Good to be back.
Okay. Why are we here and what are we doing? Interpretation of the CBNL. Open to interpretation, so be it. But 3B missed the conference for the conference for District 3. 3B had 0 representatives there other than Hayden, who was there as the senior vice. So what I've done here is I've set this meeting up, and I see Woody and I see Pam, and I know Phil's out there. He's got an earpiece in, but he's there. So we have we're missing several of the commanders, and that doesn't surprise me any. However, it's not costing them 5-hour drive for a 2-hour meeting, the way I read Charlie O'Leary's write up of what time it all started, and then we talked about the fire until it was talked about the firemen until it was time to eat, and then we ate, and then we came back, and that's when we did a little bit of caucusing. And I guess Hayden talked about his wants, needs, and desires for a vote. And John, I understand you talked for Tim Smith, and then Charlie talked for herself, and that was about the extent of who was on the stump that day. Have I missed anything on that?
I can't tell you who all was there or what they did. I can tell you that Charlie spoke. I spoke for 2 different people, and then I left. I had a wife in the hospital at the time, so I excused myself and departed. And what happened after that, I don't know.
How's she doing now, John? How's your wife now?
She's improving daily.
That's good. That's good. Hello, Vicky. Mark, you handling these invites?
I got it.
That's good to hear, John. I didn't see any notation on that. I did hear from Gary that, they had some voting, and I questioned that, and Gary had told me that no, 3B had two posts there. I'm not seeing where that was possible at all. Anyway, the idea or my concept is that we have these meetings via Zoom so that we're not spending 4.5 to 5 hours to go to some remote place for a 2-hour shindig and return home. To me, that's anal. It doesn't make any sense. This is 2024. And I'm trying to get a consensus from the district 3B, but hell, I can't even get them on Zoom.
Well, Jack, one of the things that we've talked about in the past is I think it's still too early to trust our technology. We're looking at the votes. We're looking at trying to figure out how to get votes. If those votes are accurate, how we're going to be secured, how are they going to be legitimized? Then you turn around and, well, again, I mean, just because one person gets it doesn't mean that everybody gets it.
I understand, but I'm saying our DEC, rules of the DEC, Rule 9 states how it's to be done. Maybe not everybody's read the DEC Rule 9. Amanda, I sent that to you about 30 minutes ago in the email, where it talked about email voting and faxing and all that stuff. And I think that's a good start. Hayden, I didn't mean to cut you off. Maybe this is some of the training that we need to incorporate at our convention.
A part of the problem, Jack, has been unwritten changes. Okay. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
Originally, each district commander conducted his own conference. Okay, A and B.
Okay.
But the commanders could not be at all 16 of them, or he had 16 weekends on the road. They decided to cut them back to 8. So they'd do A and B together, one in the spring, one in the fall. That way the commander could spend more time at home. I made 16 different ones. Didn't bother me in the least, but I'm retired, so that's fine.
Right.
Plus, I got the benefit of when I visited with you in District 3B, normally I got a tour of your area or places to go where I could sit and visit with each of your posts for an hour or so.
Ooh.
And that was great. That way I got to visit every post, whether I wouldn't do it otherwise. District 6 did that, District 2 did that, and a portion of 3. Now, 3A, I visited every post in 3A. 3B, not so. But that was the benefit of having 16 conferences rather than 8.
Right.
Now,
Well,
it's never, maybe we need to change it. Maybe we need to do more Zoom conferences. But that stops the commander from coming to visit your group of people in conference.
John, if we went with the A and B of 3 combined, it would be a 2-day process in order for the department commander to visit all those posts. It's just too strung out. It don't
Understand
work.
that. I understand that. But when I visited with A, 3A, I was all over the place for 2 days. When I visited with 2A, I was all over the place. for over a 2-day period. He couldn't physically drive A to B to C to D and all the others. So I understand it. But I had the benefit of that. So that helped me a lot in my term.
One of the other things, Jack, that we're looking at is, again, merge technology. Let's say you do want to do a Zoom. There's nothing that says you can't put it on a 40 or a 60 or a 75-inch TV, put it in front of your membership, and while it's being conducted at another location. But again, the issue will become over time the way we vote. Currently, the preferred method for us to go into a voting is by voice, which we can't really do over Zoom unless you do a roll call, because if you're trying to get everybody to yell at one time, you never know who's going to win. Because what happens and you've been there, is when we do the DEC or we're doing the summer convention, it's based on volume. So if you got a couple of loud mouths, you could actually sway the vote and not have enough people to vote for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think our
technology.
Say again.
Go ahead, Jack. I'll wait.
I think our March test run proved that it could be done and maintain a secret ballot, and everybody would have the opportunity to vote. We did that test drive in March, and what it is all the membership chats with whomever it is that's taking the vote count, and that person only, not on the chat scroll. And then the person who is counting the vote, just like at the state conference, rolls it all up. Now, if somebody misses that day because it's recorded, they can always go back and pull it up and send their vote in within 10 days of the meeting, according to Rule 9 of the DEC. So I'm not seeing a problem with that. I'm seeing a problem with not everybody understanding that and how to make it happen. And that's the reason I'm saying, hello, Charlie. That's the reason I'm saying that at the conventions, this is the way of the future, and we should be having training accordingly, in my opinion. And that's all the hell it is. But we're trying to move. John, what it amounts to is my post is defunct, bad. No heat, no air, can't have people in there. We can have meetings at the library. We can have meetings other places. But in January, we thought, okay, let's go virtual. Let's be digital. It's the way of the future. Let's save everybody time and money and make this happen. So since January, we've been trying to work the bugs out. I think, Hayden, you were there in February, but not March. And
Correct.
Sure, we had hiccups along the way and are still having them. As you see, there's only one, two, how many people does this thing say we got on there tonight? Mark, how many we got?
I think, Jack, that we're rapidly approaching the capability to do exactly what you want. But until we get every post with the technology to participate in that Zoom meeting from home station, which the new computers, once they're issued, will give us, we can in fact run a district conference from a home station, and all of its members are in their home. But then we got to go back and change our internal rules so that I don't have to have two of my posts sitting in the room in order to have a quorum. So there are changes we'll have to make in order to accommodate the technology of the future.
And the other point of that, Jack, is what you keep saying. There's a word there that's going to cause a little bit of hate and discontent when you say secret. When we do a vote, even at the conferences, you notice there's 3 people up there. One person should not just be receiving all those votes. There should be 2 or 3 people receiving those votes so the count is accurate. And we have it to where they can say, yes, these 3 people agreed, versus where, hey, I say it's going to be this. That's the concern you're going to run into.
Here's the concern. Mark, explain to them how you can pull the votes back up and it can be validated and verified by anybody that wants to see it, should they appeal the results.
Mark had to step away for a minute.
Okay.
Well, I can already tell you, Jack, it's the same thing when we brought up Otter, if you remember. What was the question that they asked? Is it in PDF or Word? If it's in Word, somebody can change it. It's the
Yep,
same, it's the
but-
same situation.
Oh, no, it's not, because
Oh,
this
yes, it
rec-
is.
Hayden, if I
Jack.
give you a live recording, how can you tell me it's different? Otter, you can
That's
go
what I'm
in
telling
and,
you. What they
When this-
argued that point right there that you just said.
Hayden, he's talking
I
about
know
the
what he's talking about.
chat on.
Yes, there's a record of it. It's video, it's audio. I
That's-
understand that. I am telling you, there's 90-year-old guys out there, and John can verify this. They're gonna argue that fact. I understand it. John understands it. We understand it. There are
you were
those that
old.
want to argue it though.
The fact of the matter is in the digits themselves. And when it is a live recording, you can't go back and edit it without it showing the signs of the edit. And
You're
I
right.
think the
And our government officials and police officials find it all the time when they're checking. Somebody has gone back and edited it, but there are marks every time I do that. Today, we don't
Yes.
have that capability. We do
why
not.
don't we?
We,
Why don't
we-
we, John?
there's 176 posts out there. Probably 90% of them don't have the capability to do what we're doing right now.
Yep.
Oh, I'm in complete agreement with you on that, John. I am in complete agreement, but that should not hobble the ones who can. I
Agreed.
don't have a full post.
Then how do I keep everybody involved? The only way I can do that is through technology. And
Yes.
we just don't own it yet. The capability's out there, but I can't take that little 5-man post in Kanawha, Oklahoma, that has no technology at all, and have them participate from home station. I can't drive across District 4B to Dustin, which has got 6 more people who don't even have a building. So I'm going to give them a computer that's got to go in someone's home, and hopefully they survive and they can participate. But right now, today, they don't have that capability.
I understand that, John, but along that same line, I'm trying to be cutting edge. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm certain of it. But if we can make the mistakes in Durant and make them with 3B, then that's just making the path for the department to say those hurdles have been jumped. Let's do it like that. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't
Yep.
have a building to function from. I do have electronic capabilities, and I do have a 42-inch TV that I throw this stuff up on. Well, I can move my camera around there, but I don't know that you'd see it. Okay, but if
That's
I
not
do
what
something,
the issue is, Jack. The thing is, it's like you guys going to the library. That's an outstanding
Yeah.
plan. You can do it there because they have that capability. Yeah, you can't do it at your post, but when you're doing it from a person's home, that's where the
Yeah.
issue becomes in.
It is
Yeah.
worse than that. I have posts in this department who meet in McDonald's.
Yeah,
yep. I
I
understand
have
that.
posts that meet in churches.
yeah.
I understand.
I have
that.
posts that meet in VFW buildings.
I
So-
understand that. And again, John, I understand that there's the ones out there that can't do this. All I'm asking is don't hobble the ones that can. And I think our Constitution and bylaws needs to give that latitude within the boundaries of the CBNL.
And that requires a resolution. And that's where the things have to go. One of the issues, just like we talked about the last time, you're right, Jack, we need to start moving on the technology. And your post is a great example of that. But we need the write-ups. We need that information, what you're gathering right now, to come to the department so we can have resolutions wrote to incorporate this stuff to make our department better and to get into this thing. We're not arguing that we don't need it. We need it. We just don't have the capabilities right now. But we need to have the knowledge and the experience to go forward from that.
This is where we need to have someone, and I'm not volunteering, Jack, I'm not volunteering you either, to go to not department, but to the national headquarters. They have the capability you're looking for. They do it routinely. I may meet in my National Security Council meeting with 40 other people, and we're doing it all simultaneously from our home kitchen tables.
Yep.
But we do everything we need to do because they have the ability to contact all of us well in advance, just like you did. They send me an email telling me we're going to talk about these things. They send me a read ahead package. I sit down and I read it. Then I know what time and date that I'm going to participate in that meeting. Well, we got a guy in France just participating in that meeting, but it works. They have the ability, they have the knowledge to spread it to us. And we're rapidly approaching that here. Now, nothing
Have-
says
have
you
they
can't be
got
the
it?
guy that provides the expertise.
Well, I'm asking, you're saying you're doing this through the Americanism? Or
I'm doing it through the
National-
American Legion headquarters. We do it all the time.
Okay, so do they have it written up of how they do business?
I
If
have
so,
I
why-
have no idea. I have no
Next
idea.
time- Next time you're on, can you ascertain whether or not they put it in writing?
Yes, I can, but I can also ask Tim Smith to do it for me. 'Cause he's there.
Either way, you see what I'm
Or
saying?
Charlie.
Reinvent the wheel. I'm sorry, Charlie.
No, or Charlie.
Charlie, you out there? Hello?
I'll volunteer him.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the person we need to ask, this is Zoom meetings. I do medical Zoom meetings and things with the health department and all that kind of stuff all the time. Is the smart person in the room is Amanda Current, who knows how to set up Zoom meetings and how to do it. So if you could come up with an SOP on how to do that and write it at the Army and Marine level, then we could use that to train these small posts on what the equipment is needed and then what the people need to do to make it happen.
Charlie,
Yeah,
my question is, if National is doing this already, they've got something laid out that they go by. All I'm asking for is a copy of that, and Amanda is sidetracked over here with Mark. Mark is the guru that has set all this up. Amanda is giving input on it, yes, but between Amanda's got tons of other things she does. Mark's retired, and Mark is my guru on this for right now. The two of them.
But
are
we could,
sidekick-
we could contact National and with their
That's
communication
exactly what I
people
said, Charlie.
and say, right. And then another smart person in the room is Michael Kerr that works at the Tulsa International Airport that does these kind of things with people all over the world. That he might be a resource also. So
I'll
Charlie,
work
the
with-
question wasn't, do we have resources? Was there a document in existence? There's
Right.
all
Yeah.
kinds of resources within the department to do what we want to do. Is there a written document in the department? No. National does it routinely in every committee and council up there. They have something, I'm positive. Now, can I get a hold of it? No,
Why the hell isn't it on?
but I know
National?
someone who can.
Okay. Don't let me steal the thunder, folks. Anybody's got any input, please state your case, because this, I firmly believe this is a way of the future, and the hurdles are there. And if we can get over them and blaze the trail to bring the department on board with it, why not? Vicky? Is that Pam? That's somebody on a Samsung. No, it wasn't Pam.
Oh, maybe it was.
No, Pam, it's somebody out there on a Samsung that didn't want us to know who they.
I think that's Rose.
Phil, is that you out there? Just buzz in once. Probably is. Phil's got an earpiece
Yeah,
in.
I'm here.
All right, brother. Thank you. Somebody's trying to say something. Anybody make out who that is?
Jack,
I
that-
think it's
that's
probably
Rose.
picking up background.
Yeah, it's just background noise.
Okay. I'm still having an issue, John and Charlie. This is something that John and I had involved with earlier. Say again? Okay. Charlie, what we were talking about was the CB&L stating there will be a minimum of 4 meetings over a course of 2 years is the term of the district commander. The 4 meetings, the way I see it, is the 2 summer and the 2 winter meetings. John says, no, that's not the intent of the way it was written. That's the way that I'm reading it. But what's to keep anybody from reading it that way? I'm reading black and white, and it clearly states, however, there is an exception to the 20 days prior to the summer convention. And if it's a 3-hour notice from the restroom, then you can conduct your business as if it was 20 days ago. Are you following me any at all on that?
I think traditionally the district meetings have been fall and spring. And the ones with a 3-hour notification, that's in case there's a vacancy or some issue that needs to be decided on that they didn't have a chance to do input beforehand. That's the way that I interpreted that.
I think you and John, as past department commanders, are on the same sheet of music, and I'm trying to be ignorant out here and read in black and white. It says, however. To me, that means it's a possibility, and you can do it that way. And John says maybe we need a resolution to take the however out of there. And I'm saying, why restrict ourselves and have our people drive all kinds of back roads in early hours to do it? If we get them at the summer convention, then they can vote for the entire leadership, not just that of the district or the post. That's where I'm looking, trying to re-enfranchise the Blue Hats, because they're certainly disenfranchised now, and they don't even come to the summer convention.
Yeah.
Question then becomes the resolutions, Jack. Because the resolutions, if you pass them at the caucus at your summer and winter, especially at the summer, how are you gonna get the resolution up there?
Well, this is the discussion going on right now with Dale Haynes. Whenever you go to the 2017 national recommendations for resolutions, it implies that they can come from the floor, from a blue hatter on the floor during the summer convention. Yay, verily, that does away with a 60-day prior so that they can send it out to everybody. But again, the intent is for the blue hatters not to be disenfranchised. They bring the resolution up. It goes before the entire membership. They vote, yes, it's a good idea. No, it's a bad idea. Yes, it's a good idea, but the format and the administrative part of it is wrong. Hence, it goes to the resolutions committee to get cleaned up. As long as the intent of the resolution is not changed, there's no reason why that can't be done. That is documented. So again, I say, just because we haven't done it, don't mean we can't do it. We're in compliance, and in the front of every one of National's books, they will tell you This is merely a guidelines. The posts, as long as they're not violating the Constitution and bylaws at the national level, we don't care how the post runs itself. Now, an interesting point on that is when it states if it is going to be forwarded to national, then the I's need dotted and the T's crossed prior to ANEC or NEC taking it to national. Where did I miss it?
You just cut out an entire committee.
Say that again?
You said you just cut out an entire committee, the resolutions committee?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
no, I
did,
didn't.
because you're bringing it to from the floor, and then it has to go back to the resolution. Where if it's coming from the post, like our districts and like we have it right now, it comes to that resolutions committee and then goes forward. I know what you're
And there's-
trying to do, Jack. You're wrong in that concept. You're just wrong in the
Well,
concept. I understand what you're saying, and you're right, it is legitimate, but the concept is wrong.
Where's the concept in there?
The concept is the post should be generating these ahead of time. They should be bringing them, voting on. No, no, stop, listen. They have to do that the first. Then it comes to the district, gets voted on. Then from the district, it goes to the resolutions and on up the chain of command. Just like we would do in the military. You're bypassing an entire 2 steps to get something done on the floor. That does not have to happen unless it's an emergency.
It don't have to be an emergency. It is, Hayden, all I'm
Jack?
saying, it does not have to be that way. There are states or departments out there that don't have districts. Hence
You're
the
right, they have
blue-
regions.
Okay, so the Blue Hatter's not disenfranchised. They own the conference. They have a great idea. We don't want to block that idea out, but if it's national, then yes, we want our resolutions to dot the i's and cross the t's. At least it's through the department level.
If, Jack, if we follow what we currently have, if a Blue Hatter has a recommendation, he puts it in some sort of format and forwards it or introduces it at his post. They discuss it. They determine whether his facts or assumptions are correct. They put it in a format and forward it to the district. And the district gets it, does the same thing, shares it with every other post in the district. We vote on it at our district conference. It comes from the district conference straight into the adjutant who passes it to the resolutions committee. The resolutions committee simply looks at it, makes sure that it is in the correct format, whatever departments is, that the facts are in fact facts, not assumptions or wannabes, forwards it to the appropriate committee for review, and then it goes presented to the floor. The floor either accepts it or rejects it. Now, that's only at post level or at department level. Once it goes, if it has to go any further, it's got to meet all kinds of rules that national will not accept it unless we comply with. If you send it up without it being in their format, in their style, on their form, they'll simply return it to you. It will never get to their resolution committee. The adjutant will turn it around. So we can create whatever we want internal to the department, but we have to follow the rules to national. And we can play with it all day, and that ain't going to change. Let's worry about what we do at department level.
All right,
And
well,
right- A workable format.
okay, the intent of this was to get 5B on board, and I appreciate the past department command and the senior's vice input, but I really need to hear from my post command what their thoughts are. Because this is being pushed at the echelons that you guys are pushing at. And again, I'm not here to be argumentative with you. I'm trying to get feedback from the post, because if we're gonna change things, we're gonna change it from the bottom up. I'll
And
never,
hey, Philip,
department-
can you mute your mic, please?
who?
Phil,
Philip, can you mute your, thank you.
Well, you'd think he was out on his bike. So, let me see, Vicky, what kind of input have you got? Woody,
Oh.
what kind of input have you got?
Well, I agree with the protocol that John just outlined. I think if you have an alternate plan, it's going to create a lot of confusion. At this point, we don't need any more confusion than we've already been experiencing. It should, in other organizations that I've been in, that is the format. It comes from your grassroots people and it goes to your district level. It goes up the chain. And if you follow that and then all of a sudden you throw something else out there, well, a resolution can come from the floor. It's going to muddle the water and people will be more confused than maybe they are right now. I don't know. That's my opinion, Jack. Simplicity, but also following the guidelines. And that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Woody, you out there? Pam, you're on deck. Woody, are you intermittent or can you talk?
Okay.
Hello, Woody?
I sure will then. All right. Bye-bye.
Is that you, Woody? Pam? Pam, can you give us input from Ardmore? The other button, Pam. Okay, as everybody can see, there are problems with this. My mindset, as it is, says we can get over these hurdles, we can fix things, we can make them right. I still believe that there needs to be training at the very least the next meeting. It may be a while before the computers come in. It may not be a while before some of us are able to do this, but I think we need to start preparing the path now for all to follow. Feedback, please.
absolutely. I do want to clarify something though, Jack. You are right about bringing resolutions from the floor. But you got to understand something. Those resolutions, depending on how that resolution is put, there could be issues with it. Not everybody's understanding of that. That's why we use this process first. When I say an emergency, I mean it is something that is critical to the department to get over hurdles. For example, what happened this last time around when our senior vice passed away. There was things that could have been done. There's things that could have caused issues. But by following the procedures that we have in place, we were able to overcome them. But if that something had happened that it would have came from the floor and I said, hey, yeah, this happened. And now we're going to go with Jim Bob Billy over here, who has been in the Legion for a year. We're going to shove him in as the senior vice commander. I mean, logic would detect that you not do that. But I hate to say it.
We
People
both
are,
did.
yeah, people are kind of iffy at times.
Yeah,
May I make one other observation, Jack?
please, John.
We in fact went through what you're talking about in 2019. In 2019, when COVID hit, We were directed to cancel our summer convention. We had elections to run. So how did we do that? Nothing in our constitution and bylaws gave us a method to do that. A resolution was submitted immediately, immediate action. Can we do this electronically and how? Once the DEC voted and said, yes, let's do that.
It's
We
Rule
developed
9
a
of
way
the-
to do that, and we in fact implemented it. And we
Yes.
conducted our elections electronically, and it worked. But
And John, that's
the kind
Rule
of thing
9
that
of
has
the
to-
DEC that was voted in, and it did change things. And all I'm saying is that should be the norm, not the emergency. That's all I'm
I
getting.
disagree. Because if every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a bright idea and sends it forward and it's the rule, it will turn into chaos.
Plus, it gives these posts a chance to review that stuff before it gets to the membership on the floor.
Hayden, can
Yes.
can you explain the computers? Not everybody knows about the computers that are going to be going out.
They started to pass them out, and before they did went inside and looked at the licensing for each one of them before they gave them. And what they found was half of them had licensing, the other half did not. So they had to go back to the benefactor and say, hey, we need more money to get the licensing. Well, they've got the money, now they're putting the licensing in place. But unfortunately, because of the process and well, you understand the time consuming to do that, they're not able to get them out when they wanted to. Right now, we are looking at, I think, according to our source, it is about 75%. We were trying to give some out, but then we got to looking, okay, if we start now, there's going to be posts that don't have it. So we decided, okay, let's just take them. We're going to do them at the convention. And I'm not 100% on that for the very simple fact, again, we know that there's going to be posts that's not going to show. The posts that show, we'll probably have a table set up, we'll register them, we'll get the tags on them, we'll get them out to them. But then just like Jack said, there's the training involved in how to set it up. I can set up a computer in 5 minutes. Some people may not. So there has to be, like Jack said, training on how to actually set the computer up, how to put everything together. Then you're going to have to go in and train them on some of the programs. That's going to be a time-consuming process. So what my intention is we're going to set aside a room, have a couple of tables, have the computers there if they're still available, and then start processing them through that way. They'll have a little metal sticker that goes on them, along with a QR code, QR code. And what we're going to try to do is use our phones and other technology that we have personally to track these, that when they send them out to a person's house or to the post, when it comes time to track them, we can send around a team, just like you would if you were at a convenience store with the managers and the district managers. They could go around with their little scanners and verify all your prices and make sure you're in compliance with what they have. That's the only way we can make sure that these computers don't just disappear, as we have seen in the past with rifles and things of that nature. So we're trying to use the protocols in place and use the technology to track and maintain these things and make sure everybody's got them. Because as John said, these will make our life easier, but they can also make them a nightmare.
Hayden, with that in mind, I go back to Jamie's current situation where she can't get PDRs turned in. You and I both know that the PDR is part of Personify. And in District 3B, Amanda has taken the time to go out and work with the adjutants at the different posts. Those particular people that she worked in training Personify still call and ask, can you send me a blank copy? I can't find it.
Actually, the
So-
PDR is on the national website and our department website. They're fillable and you can send them right from there to the adjutant or to myself.
Well, therein lies the problem where you can't get posts to do that.
That's the problem, Hayden. It's not the fact that they don't have it, it's the fact they're not doing it.
Yeah, it's not the availability, it's the motivation.
Now, understand this is a joke. This is a joke. But my suggestion would be to go to the door, kick it in and make them do it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the only way you're going to get them to operate.
What
Well,
I
just-
intend to do at the District 4 conference, District 4, is I'm going to take all the forms that they have to have between now and convention, and I'm going to hand one to each post commander and say, here's what you got, here's the instructions, here's when they're due. Now, I can't hold them to their feet to the fire and make them do them. I have to provide the material and instructions of how and pray that they do it. Will they do it? No. I've been in this business long enough to know that on the day that I have to have consolidated post report, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call Jack Sykes and say, Jack, where's your post data or post consolidated report? And you will say, oh, I forgot. So you'll give it to me over the telephone. Been there, done that. And we can't solve that problem. That's just human nature.
What was it? 2 years ago, we we actually did them for the entire department, and then we got told we can't do that no more.
Yes,
Yes, we did. National had a fit.
that's right, because it didn't have the original commander's signature block on it.
Yep.
So
But we
John,
were 100% 2 years in a row.
yeah, the issue with that is you're going to do this at your district meeting, and Jamie has a deadline of the 15th of April because National has to send out the new
Yep.
information. Is there anybody on this Zoom call that is not aware of the 3-year possibility of paying your dues? Anybody on here, speak up if you don't know that that 3-year option is out there. Okay. All right, I just wanted to inject that in there because that's, the deadline will be June 30th, that option will no longer be there. That's my understanding of it, Hayden.
For this year.
Yeah, for this
Of
year.
this year, yes, yes.
Or
of
1
this-
July, then I still can do 3 years, but I have to do it at the new rate.
New rate.
Correct, correct. And the situation that Jamie's in there is she don't know how much the dues are from each individual post. So what the hell does she send to National?
Best guess estimate.
No, wait. Each post should tell us what their dues are when they do the data report.
Concur.
Now,
But-
do you have the latest COMO report from department? It only shows this year's dues. It shows it for every post.
Yeah,
So if I
Yeah,
had
but-
$5, I'm closer than I would be otherwise.
yeah, absolutely. But that's my point. Her combo report is still waiting for these PDRs to come in so that she can update it.
Yeah, you're right. But the Constitution at National and the officer's guide and our department says the only person that can change the dues at a post level is the post.
Yes, sir.
If they
Concur.
fail to get it, then they don't turn it in, they're going to get the same old stuff and they're going to be behind.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And it's going to take the $5 from the post. So the post is not going to get the monies that they think they're going to get.
Yes, you're right. And we're going to lose post over it. The last time the dues went up, we lost 6 posts simply because they refused to pay it.
Yep.
They closed their doors to keep from paying it.
Okay, for the good of the cause, let's go around the room and see if anybody's got any input. We've got about 13 minutes. We'll try to do it in 10. If you need more time, all you got to do is holler. This is the pro model of Zoom, so we're not limited by time. It's your time. Mark again is my guru on this Zoom stuff, and he's taught me how to push a button. And of course, Amanda's always my phone person. Thanks, Amanda. Okay, let's start there. Amanda, anything for the good of the cause?
So no, you're right, John. We can't make the posts do what they need to do. And as much as we don't want to lose the posts, if that's what it needs to be, then unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. What we need to do is, we're getting together for a district meeting basically, and we need to figure out what is going to better the district. Yes, we've got, we've got busy lives and everything, but what is going to better our district? Is it going to be Zoom and, or are we going to, that's what we need to focus on. Yeah, eventually we're going to need to work on the resolution, but we've got to figure out what's going to be best for the district before we can figure out what we need to put in the resolution.
Experience.
What do you
What
mean?
was that?
That's where you get your experience. By doing something, then you can write the resolution.
Right,
when
and
you
that's what I'm
find,
saying. We've been going back and forth about the resolution, and that's not, yes, I mean, there's things in the resolution that we all disagree with, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is how are we going to get the meetings and the camaraderie and everything else between these posts for the district to make everything better?
And in my opinion, you're not. Because I can sit here, look at you on the screen, say, "My, she's a pretty woman." But unless we're all together and I'm looking you in the eyeballs and everybody else can participate, 90% of them will sit back and say nothing on the Zoom conference, and you don't get their input at all. If they're in the room, I can look around and see that Jack is dying to say something and ask him, "What's going on?" Zoom meetings are great to get stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to make decisions, get things out of them, unless they got a fax machine and can fill it out with you right now, we're not accomplishing it.
I agree with you, John. Absolutely. I don't think a meeting should be Zoom every single time. Like trying to figure out things, get it out, get the information out there. Hey, we're going to have a Zoom meeting and, discuss this real quick, whatever. I agree with you. But somewhere we've got to figure out, what is going to work best for the district. I mean, we've got the posts that don't know anything. I've got different posts in my district that they have no clue what's going on from headquarters, and that's a problem. And it's like, okay, how do we disseminate this information to the best for each post to where we can build the district back up?
Well,
This is where Jack has 7 counties. I'm just guessing that's how many there is across there. I can't afford 7 different vice commanders. Maybe I can go over 2 counties, or maybe I don't have some counties with any members at all, but I have a vice commander. And I can deal with my vice commanders a lot easier than I can 18 different posts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the answer, because right now the stumbling block is who checks to see if they're getting their emails. The district commander or his adjutant does. And then when I visit that post every spring and every fall, and I visit every one of them, I can ask them, "What's your email? What's your phone number?"
Mm-hmm.
And I probably don't even get back in my car before it changes.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, absolutely.
So when I tell department, then this is where you email it to, it never gets there because it's not accurate.
Right.
I don't know the answer, but I'm struggling with it too, because I've got posts I can't communicate with unless I physically go to them.
Yeah. And I mean, even though I've got the time, sometimes I don't have the money to be going to every single
bet you.
post.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest struggle that I've had is I want to go to all these posts. I want to see everybody face to face. I don't have the ability to do that because I ain't got the finances to do that.
Yep.
So
John,
that comes back to what do we do, to help pull in these posts better?
I don't know the answer to that. I wish I did.
John, if I can interject here for a moment, Amanda, what brought all this about is the fact that we couldn't get anybody from 3B to the 3 conference. Something is wrong there. We've watched it happen. It continues to happen. So we're offering the Zoom. It may not be the answer, but at least you're not spending time and gas running up and down the road. I don't know what it's going to take to motivate them to get them there. I hope the Zoom helps.
Tell him that it's Tuesday and that he needs to go to the emergency room and not take stop his climate and stop
Mark,
his.
you mute, Larry, please.
Right, thank you. Okay.
Hayden,
Again, there's nothing really we can do for the post other than just keep trying. We just got to keep working it. I will tell you this, as of Monday, we just found out that the national commander will not be coming to the southeast Oklahoma. He'll be staying in the Oklahoma City area. So that will have to, our part of that is done. I will continue working that, and Charlie will also help me out with that along with Tim Smith. Keep the faith on the computers. Let's hope they get them, because that's going to be the big game changer for our department. Even if we can't get them to all, it will help out in the larger part. Because I will tell you right now, sitting in that office, processing membership, especially at the first part of from July to about, say, October, there's hundreds that come in every day. You have to have a little gun here at the house. I have one at the office, and I am using that gun constantly. It slows down right about now. Continue with membership. We're not done. We just looked at our district race to 100. We had no districts at 100% this year. So, but we had some that was pretty close. Yeah, we had some that's close, but keep on with the membership. District commander should have got an email from me yesterday or the day before. It has a list of all the expired. We have over 6,500 expired. Now, not every post commander can see that. So it's important that the district commanders push that down to the post to make sure that they continue to work that list. 3,000 people between now and May 30th would put us at 105 to a little over 105%. That would put us in first place in national. And that's all I have.
Pam, you got anything for our board? Pam, if you can hear me, make sure Phil gets the word on the national commander not coming down here. And Woody, I guess you're hearing that also. Vicky, I know you got it last night. Charlie, I'm sorry, Vicky, you got anything for us?
No, we just got to keep trying on those members that are expired. I will say this, that some of the ones that I personally have encountered and asked them about, your membership is lapsed, we certainly would like to have you back. And sometimes I just get a blank look. I've had a couple of people say, what's in it for me?
Yep.
Whip them.
What's in it for me? I was in the National Guard. I don't qualify for a darn thing. Why should I give you $40? And that's just being honest. And I'll be
Yeah.
truthful with you. I was in the Oklahoma Army National Guard. I do not qualify for one single thing through the VA. I'm doing this because I have a sense of community service. But I mean, that's just that's what's going on in my world. So
Thank you, Vicky. Charlie, you got something for us?
Yeah, well, I think there has to be a hybrid approach. We're all going to be on Zoom meetings and computers for the rest of our lives. That's just the way it is. And then the other secret that I found that seems to work better is appointing additional appointed district vice commanders with 3 posts each. Up in 1B, we're a big district, and when Karen Cruz was the commander, we had 6 or 7 additional vice commanders, and have those folks go to one of their 3 posts every month. And then if that rapport is established, then when the computers come, then you're going to know who the people are and what the process is in a real small post of using the commander or the adjutant's granddaughter or somebody who can get them technical assistance to go ahead and set this up, and then things will go there. And then also I agree we need to have that camaraderie of having in-person and people meetings. So we need to maybe have still keep our spring and fall, and then maybe have and then blank or bracket those with Zoom meetings where those who have the ability to do that are able to do it.
Okay. And now I'll turn to Mark. Mark is the one that's going to put all this stuff on YouTube. So the ones that didn't make it tonight can go in and view it. That's something that we started back in February. Again, we're trying to work the bugs out of it, but you'll be able to go to YouTube, pull this up, see it in its entirety, unedited, and other than the vote count scenario that we're trying to work the bugs out of, it's open to anybody that wants to go to the URL. It'll take Mark a couple of days to get it posted on YouTube. When he notifies me that it's out there, I will notify everybody again the way that I did this time, both via email and via message, in case you're not checking your email every day. That's a lesson learned. Anybody have input for me?
John, we had something to say?
I best leave mine out. No, let me tell you something, Hayden. Remember we was working my little World War II veteran?
Yep.
He paid his dues for the 4 times today. You know, I paid it in July. I paid it twice since. You worked to get him off the deceased roster. After we figured out that was part of it, he got another notice from National to pay his dues. I got his check today. There's no call for this.
You're right.
That's 4 times he's paid. His dues have been paid this year. He's a 102-year-old guy. He's the only World War II guy I got left, so he is my soapbox. I don't know what to do with that. So
We brought that up at the last Media and Communications and at the IA the last time I was there.
Hey,
But
Charlie,
I
Go
will
ahead.
make sure I have lunch with him sometime and give him his check back. And I will buy his lunch.
Oh, you should have seen the face today when I finally turned in all the coins from Colgate.
Amanda, you had something?
Yeah, Charlie, you said that your district's pretty big. What have you found that works to disseminate the information and actually get it to the different posts? the best.
What we found is that whenever whenever Bob Coffey in Tulsa, our district commander, gets something, then he or our adjutant sends it out to all of the vice commanders. And then like I've got Hominy, Ralston, and Pahuska. Ralston actually attended the state convention last summer, the first time since like 1987 or something. So it just takes that personal of going there and visiting with these people and saying, this is what you got to do, and here's how to do it. Sometimes in the Army we have a saying, see one, see one, do one, teach one. So you have to do hands-on, things to really do that. And so and then the other one, Esther Coker, travels all over the place, doing things. So that's what it is to have those folks going out doing with it's that personal contact where it has to be. If it's only 3 posts, then it's a viable thing. If I had when I was by myself and I had to do 19 posts, that's kind of, plus if you're working full time, and that's a mess with that. So.
And that's the same thing that John and I were just talking about. Is like, there's got to be something we could do better. I mean, we're not, huge, but we're not small. And the
Right.
distance between our posts is,
And then I think having the kind of like maybe a monthly Zoom with the district leadership, with the commander and adjutant, would be that would be a good thing too. But you still have to have that camaraderie, I think, of going there. Where in the Legion, the Army, and the Marines pick on Navy and Air Force because you guys are smarter than us. That's that repartee that goes on, and that's what makes it interesting. So.
Well, it's really
All right,
difficult.
Amanda. I agree with Charlie sometimes. And in this case, I agree with vice commanders do work, but I understand your district. If I was your district commander, I'd put a vice commander in the east. You got 2 posts over there, and they're sort of off by themselves. They're in Arkansas almost. And you
that's
come back
kind
the
of where
other
I'm
direction.
going with that. Is they're so far out there. I mean, I can go to Tishman and go.
If I
or-
take Wright City and the other one over there, that's 1 vice commander. Can I get 1 over there? Because there's no other post over there
Mhm.
until I get back to Hugo. Do I want to mix Hugo in it?
No,
I might mix Hugo with a couple of the other guys close by. Then I'd come across to the west side, and I'd look at Woody and Ada and your maybe post over there a little further. But it's hard for your district to wait. You're so wide and so few, you'd have to have 3 vice commanders at least.
Right.
There's a lot of difficulty, when we have district meetings and they're at Wilburton or at the Colony. That's a long way to drive from
Yes.
Tishomingo. And
Yes,
then
it
you
is.
get up there, and then next thing you know, it's lunchtime, and then you meet for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then you've got a 2.5 or 3 hour drive back, and you haven't accomplished anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
there's just not
100%.
enough time.
Yeah.
So can 3B, can we have a meeting within 3B that is a little more centrally located? Like
agree.
Antlers?
well,
I don't know if
Antlers is,
I don't think there's a post at Antlers, but
There
I
is.
mean, is that possible?
But is it a requirement that we have to meet at a post?
no,
No.
So-
there is not. And Vicky, Antlers is out of our district, but that,
I was
that
just
being
using
said,
that
I-
as an example.
I-
Yeah.
I understand completely what you're saying. I do. And Amanda, I think something that we need to work on is more vices.
Mhm.
I don't know. Mark, from an IT perspective, what glitches have you uncovered in this?
Everything seems to be going pretty good. I think this is gonna be one of the easiest ways to have your meetings. Cause that way nobody has to drive anywhere. You can stay at home and you can do it right there that way. It'd be so much easier to get your meetings conducted because you don't have a time constraint. You don't have a driving constraint. It's all right here where you can take care of it.
And Amanda, I'm gonna throw this at you just as you went and trained the different adjutants on Personify.
Mm.
It could be that we need to set up a similar training program so that we go to that post and say, okay, watch, Mark, turn us on. Now here, we're talking to Mark. You see, it didn't cost anything other than our time to go there and teach them how to do it. I know there's enough laptops out there that this can be done while we're waiting on department to furnish the equipment. I know there's enough out there. I'm thinking of the young lady in Hugo that works for the Choctaw that has internet and all that stuff because the Choctaw is paying for it for her. So
Mhm.
that brings Hugo right
And
into
you
it.
can also, excuse me, Jack, you can also do it on your cell phone.
Or
Even,
tablet.
even we old people have these because that's how our granddaughter texts us.
Yeah, Charlie, I'm with you on that, but you know, you have one of those cell phones and you tell everybody you don't have email. My God, if you got a cell phone, you got email.
Well, that's just because they don't understand how to work their phone.
Well, I
Yep.
told you the story about the guy that was wondering why his phone
Amanda.
kept dinging.
Yes.
You'll make money if you conduct a how-to class at the summer convention. I'll come sit in it and I'll bring my computer.
John,
I'm serious.
but
You're gonna
John,
have
my
a whole
issue,
bunch of brand new adjutants come in
That's true.
from post elections and come in and you can teach them and you get 10 or 15 of them at once.
John. My situation is when Amanda is teaching, whether it's suicide prevention or IT, she's not getting trained in her area of expertise, adjutant. So she's got the manual, she reads the manual, but she's never sat in an adjutant class because she's always been pulled off for suicide prevention or IT work. Let Amanda get.
I went to the IT classes this at midwinter and I didn't learn very much about being an adjutant. Now, I've been an adjutant off and on for years and years and years, and I still don't know how to do things.
Well,
But I struggle with it, and Hayden gets all my membership because I don't know how to input it.
Amanda, you and John need to link up. Okay. Anybody else have anything for the good of the cause? Mark will let everybody leave as they see fit. The little red button down on the right side of your screen breaks contact. My email's out there, my phone number's out there. It's on the propaganda that you got from me. Any feedback that you have, please send it to me. Again, we're all in this together. We have the hurdles in front of us. Let's get over them.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Charlie Mike.
Good to see everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Hayden. Thanks, John. Well, Mark, let me know when you get the YouTube up.